After the rather disappointing G5 last year, LG is trying again with the G6. This time round, LG is taking a simpler, safer approach and going back to basics. Let's start with the new design. There's no fancy leather back cover or a modular design here, just a simple and understated design with glass and metal. The slightly curved edges on the back and the chunkier metal frame all adds to a phone that feels really nice in the hand. Some folks might be a bit upset because the battery is no longer removable, but LG has made the phone water and dust resistant, which is a small price to pay for added durability in my opinion. While the materials have changed, the fingerprint sensor and power button is still in the same position as before. It's a physical button, but just resting my finger on top unlocks the phone. It works reliably and is fairly quick to unlock, so no complaints from me here. The biggest change you'll find on the phone this year is the new full vision display from LG. It's a 5.7-inch Quad HD Plus LCD display with an 18:9 aspect ratio and tiny bezels. It's a really nice looking display with nice colors, contrast, outdoor visibility and viewing angles. Because of the tiny bezels and the taller screen, this was actually still a really manageable size compared to a typical 5.7-inch phone, so I have no problems using it one-handed most of the time. It supports HDR video playback as well, but until we have more HDR content, it seems pointless to talk about it. But there are two interesting things here worth talking about. The first one being the completely flat glass, something we actually don't see that often on high-end phones these days. The other being the rounded corners on the display, which matches the corners of the phone nicely. LG says that they're both there to make the screen more durable against corner impact, which is great of course, but for me, I like it mostly because of how it looks. This new full vision display, the flat glass, and the rounded corners gives the LG G6 its distinctive look, making it stand out from other flagship devices. Just one thing to note here. If you look closely, you'll find that the rounded corners are not perfectly rounded, but to me, it doesn't really detract much from the gorgeous looking screen. LG software has always been their weakest link, especially when it comes to design and performance. While they have been improving over the years and scaling back on their customizations, they're still not quite there yet. You get all these little tweaks around the interface just to emphasize that 2:1 aspect ratio and the rounded corners, but none of them really enhances the experience. When it comes down to it, the most useful aspect of that taller screen is just having more room to run two apps at the same time and the ability to see a bit more content. While not all apps can take advantage of this aspect ratio yet, LG does provide an app scaling feature to ease the transition, but just don't expect everything to work perfectly. For video content, while there's a button to resize your videos to fit the screen, it doesn't work on online content just yet, so there will be a bit of letterboxing when watching YouTube. But it's not a big deal to me since the bezels are pretty thin here. Then, there are little things around the interface that kind of messes up the look a little too. Take the navigation buttons. The square buttons should be slightly smaller to counterbalance its bigger surface area compared to the other buttons to make things look more balanced. This is something that Google already accounted for in stock Android, but LG decided to just make them all the same size. By the way, it's been like this since the first Marshmallow software from LG. Then, you get two network icons saying the same thing, and you have this ugly looking effect that has been around for years. I could go on, but you get the idea. But this is just me nitpicking on the design, because in terms of usability, LG does get a lot of software features right. Always on display is always nice to have around since my phone is on my desk all the time. Double tap to wake or sleep makes it really easy to access the notifications. Being able to tap the screen in a pattern to unlock the phone is super convenient too when the phone is on my desk. Being able to add a button to pull down the notification shade is super convenient as well, and is a great feature to have on a phone this tall. So while I don't love the way the software looks, I think it still provides a pretty nice user experience overall, especially after I turned off, disabled or replaced anything that I don't like. But something that I can't change would be the performance. I'm not saying that it's slow, but having used a phone like the Google Pixel, it feels like there are minor split-second pauses every now and then. Not a big deal, but just thought I would mention it here. The phone is powered by Snapdragon 821 with 4GB of RAM, which might disappoint some folks who want the latest chipset, but it's still more than enough for everything I need the phone to do. It's also paired with a 3300 mAh battery, which gives me a day of normal use easily. You can also clearly see Android doze in action throughout the night. For heavier usage, I can just do a quick top up using fast charging and I'm good to go. The G6 actually supports wireless charging as well, but that's exclusive to the US variant. But at least in Singapore, we get more storage at 64GB as well as quad DAC for better audio experience. So that's not too bad. But it's still kind of insane that LG is doing all these region-specific exclusives. While some folks will probably love the quad DAC, I use Bluetooth earbuds primarily, so it's not a big deal for me. I do wish the phone has stereo speakers though. The single speaker sounds pretty decent, but it's quite easy to cover it up while gaming. The camera experience is probably going to be one of the main selling points of the LG G6. The main camera is a 13MP sensor with f1.8 aperture and optical image stabilization. The second camera is the same 13MP sensor with a wide-angle lens and f2.4 aperture. By the way, the second camera lacks autofocus and optical image stabilization. LG also switched from laser autofocus to face detection autofocus, which seems to work well enough too. The main camera is able to capture some really good looking shots with nice contrast. Same goes for low light performance too, with the optical image stabilization doing a good job here. But overall, I find the images a bit over-processed, especially with the sharpening. I also find that it has the tendency to overexpose a little in auto mode, but that can be easily adjusted. It may not be my choice for the best smartphone camera, but it does offer a lot of flexibility with the wide-angle camera. It's not exactly a deal-breaker feature for me, but it sure as hell is fun to play around with. Something worth mentioning too is that the G6 has a manual video recording mode. Recently, I tried shooting an entire video using the iPhone SE's default camera app, and it made me appreciate the camera mode here a bit more. The 5MP camera joins in the front too with a wide-angle lens and an f2.2 aperture. It allows me to toggle into wide-angle mode with the press of a button, which is great for a group shot. But the main thing is, it produces very average looking results and falls apart very quickly in low light conditions. There are a few camera specific features that makes use of the taller display here, like having the camera roll on the side to preview images, shooting a square photo with an instant preview, take 2 shots side by side, take 4 shots in a grid, and use a guide to match the composition of another photo. The last 2 features are the most interesting ones to have around because it makes it really easy to create interesting looking content for social media. I initially thought it was kind of gimmicky, but it's actually quite fun to use. So let's wrap this up. The LG G6 is a great effort from LG. It's a solid, well-built phone that comes with most of the things that one would expect from a flagship smartphone today. By giving up the gimmicks and focusing on getting the basics right, LG has created a phone that is actually worth considering. Sure, it's not as impressive as the Galaxy S8 on paper, but it is priced lower to reflect that difference, and you still get a similarly futuristic looking display with tiny bezels, which looks to be the trend going forward. Plus, LG Singapore is also providing 2 years warranty on the G6 for an additional peace of mind. I do wish LG would find some ways to improve on their software, but other than that, it's a phone that I really enjoyed using. If you give it a chance, maybe you'll like it too. Thanks for watching this video, hope you guys liked it. Do subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. See you guys on the next one.